Alright, so hello to everybody out there in the land of YouTube. My name is Jonathan McAdam. I am the owner, designer, creator of StArt's channel and StArt's brand. I am a recovering addict. I actually just celebrated my 8th year of sobriety yesterday, February 7th. And all I can say is that what a time it's been. I put myself in treatment for 26 months, took myself away from society, took myself away from the environment, and just really started working on who I was and who God has meant me to be. I lived in darkness, shame, guilt, regret for a long, long period of time. Basically, at the age of 10, I'd already programmed myself sex, drugs, alcohol, crime, living on the wild side. That was my worth. That's what I was supposed to do in my life, growing up in guardianship, foster care, group homes, alcohol, abuse, so on and so forth. Basically, continuously being taken out of the frying pan and thrown into the fire. You know, time and time and time and time and time again. People leaving, me leaving people, never allowing anybody to come into my heart, to come into my spirit, to come into my place. You know, I've always put myself on the back burner. I've always put myself in the shadow. I've never really been there to put myself out into the world because ultimately I had no belief in who I was or what I was capable of doing. And, it's so difficult to live a life where you're meant to do more and you're supposed to be doing more, but you can't see it. And then you just keep on living your life and you're just not being who God had meant you to be. For myself, I had my daughter, but I was a deadbeat. I wasn't there for her. I didn't see her for 3 years. For the first 5 years of her life, I was kind of in, I was kind of out, and just ultimately not there. And then over the past 8 years, uh, her and I had built up a relationship, and it was strong. And I'm going through a difficult time with her in respects to her going down her own destructive path at the age of 16. And because of that, I'm not a part of her life right now, right? So it's difficult as a parent, as a father, as a person who has been through addictions and who has destroyed his life through it, to watch my daughter be going down the same path and not being able to do anything about it. But at the same time, I need to look into the fact and understand that yes, I am her biological father, and yes, I care for her and love her and want to provide and protect and make sure that she doesn't go down the same path as I did. But at the same time, I need to keep on looking at God. I need to keep on putting my trust in the Lord and understanding that ultimately we're all children of the one infinite creator, right? So I may be her biological father, but God is her spiritual father, and so He's the one that I essentially have to keep on praying to, and just hoping and knowing and having faith, that He's got a path for her. And when I'm allowed back into that path, it's like it talks about in the scriptures about the prodigal son who had gone away for whatever 7 years and then squandered all his money and destroyed his life and so on and so forth. But he came back, and then the father was right there, open arms, you know, going out and killing the best calf and stuff like that, and making lots of food and giving them the best garments and just love and just hugging them. So in my sense, that's what I plan on doing when my daughter comes back to me, when she's gone through her growth period, and hopefully sooner than later. But at the same time, I need to look at it. I hated who I was in respects to my addiction. I went through one night and I burned myself with a lighter because I was a deadbeat dad, because I wasn't living my purpose. I didn't know what my purpose was. Um, and I just essentially hated everything about me. And I don't want her to go down that path, you know? And so I'll actually ask you guys to pray for her and, even to pray for me, to give me strength, to accept what I can't change. Because there's a lot of things in life, we have no control over, and we ultimately can't change circumstances or situations. But again, it's how we look at everything too, and how we react to what's happening in and around us. And we may not be able to, ultimately change initial situations or circumstances, but how we react to it will potentially change the outcome, you know, and the path of what's going to happen next. I mean, if we go about things in a negative way, then ultimately we will create a negative outcome. But if we take and review and sit back and move forward in a positive way, then that will hopefully be the best case scenario will come out of that attitude and that decision and how we react, right? So ultimately, just pray for her that she finds her way, you know, that she finds who she is. Because I didn't find who I was until I was like, I'm still trying to find out who I am. Ultimately, right? That's never gonna end. We're always gonna keep on growing. We're always gonna keep on evolving and stuff like that, physically, spiritually, emotionally. I mean that is a journey that will never end, right? And then even along the lines of that, it's like when I went into treatment, it was for alcohol, drugs, cigarettes. Those were the main three demons that had ultimately, knocked me on my face and put me in a really, really, really low energy, low vibration, and took me away from the enjoyment, the true spiritual enjoyment of life, right? But then when I got clean and sober and started building my spiritual foundation and looking to God and reading scriptures and you know then I found out that I have so much more to work on, like working on ourselves, spiritually, physically, emotionally, intellectually, so on and so forth, is gonna go on forever, right? But and it's a journey, and we have to accept that journey. We just have to understand like who we are now and where we are in life, is not necessarily where we're going to be, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. I mean, if we are in the exact same place thinking the exact same things, uh, then ultimately we're actually going to feel a void, and we're going to feel like that there's something missing, because we have to keep on growing, we have to keep on evolving, we have to keep on changing. But I'm just so excited, to be 8 years clean and sober, and then ultimately, I had died to the Jonathan, back then, who didn't believe in himself wholeheartedly, right? And ultimately, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Do I always believe 100,000% into everything? No. Do I get hit with depression? Yes. Does my addictions still attack me? Yes. Um, I don't I don't fall into it, you know. Um, there's been times that I come close to falling, but then I have to recognize that I know if I were to smoke or to drink or to get high, then all the cleaning and spiritual cleaning and cleansing and physical cleansing and mental cleansing that I had done in my life, everything would fall and crash at a really, really, really fast rate. And, I don't want to go back to that life. I don't want to go back to that person, you know? And then even when it goes into being a recovering addict, you know, ultimately at some point in time, I'm going to have to die to that identity as well. And ultimately just understand that we're all spiritual beings of the one infinite creator, and that is God, right? And then, so ultimately, the Jonathan addict identity is dead. The recovering addict, Jonathan, will perish as well. And then ultimately, it all comes down to who I am in Christ and who I am in the Lord and what I can do in this planet, on this earth, and what light can I bring out towards others. And, again, 8 years clean and sober, and it's still just the beginning. I got a lifetime to go, a lifetime of learning, a lifetime of evolving, a lifetime of growing, a lifetime of taming knowledge, a lifetime of becoming more wise, looking at the world in a completely different way, you know, recognizing that everything is not face value. Everything is not what we see on TV and on Netflix and all of that stuff. Hence why I don't really watch it. And I just try and keep my mind and keep my eyes focused on the things unseen, because essentially and ultimately that is what will last forever. So basically that is my video. It was just kind of a rant, and subscribe to StArt's, share the video, like the video, make a comment, let me know if you guys got any value out of this. You can go check out my brand. This is my painting. It took a little bit of time, a couple of hours, one or two. And yeah, at www.startarts.com. So you can go check out my website. I'm also on Instagram, StArt's, Facebook, StArt's. And you guys are all awesome, beautiful, purposed. And I just thank you so much. And just keep on being the best version of yourself. Believe in who you are and your capabilities, because you are worth believing in. And ultimately, anything and everything that we set our minds to and truly put all our efforts towards, we will be able to accomplish anything. So I just give you thanks and blessings.